welcome everybody to the Umbrella podcast show on YouTube. We have a very, very exciting guest today. Somebody I have looked up to for a very, very long time, basically since the day I was born, literally looking up and being like, that's the guy right there. That is my older brother.
The man.
So we have our older brother, Mark Orr, who just happens to be an extremely talented musician whose album is now available on, I know it's available on Spotify. What other places can we find your album?
All the places, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon, TikTok for some reason. So yeah.
Just search for Cool Nerd Mark and it'll be there. It will be there like a warm friend. And we're very excited to talk about his musical career today. He goes by the name Cool Nerd Mark, which we'll get into the origins of that name in a minute. We're going to talk about his album. We're going to talk about his musical ventures and journeys throughout his life. And hopefully, and also, this is the exciting part, we're going to have a live performance from the man himself coming up here at the end of the program. So, without any further ado, welcome Cool Nerd Mark to the Orr Umbrella.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. I'm joining you guys from Tacoma, Washington, by the way.
Yeah.
Home of Mark Orr, Cool Mark Orr.
And
it's not raining. It's sunny. It's sunny and warm today. It's really weird for up here.
That is odd.
I know.
But
like
you know,
wearing shorts or something.
For the
it's a miserable day for the lead singer of Garbage. I'm only happy when it rains.
She'd like it here.
She would like that.
That's right. Shirley Manson, by the way. No relation to Marilyn Manson or other Manson guy. Yeah.
True.
That's a great video too. A great video.
I have an autographed copy of that CD single. So
really?
Wow.
Half price books.
Yeah. Little shout out.
The place
you get lucky sometimes.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get the questions started off. Little Mikey, you have the first question, sir.
I do have the first question, and it is a silly question, which we always start with.
Yeah.
And the first question, the silly question is, Mark, if you could sing karaoke with any Jim Henson character, which Jim Henson character would you sing karaoke with?
Oh, I thought about this because you sent me the question ahead of time, and I would definitely say Scooter.
Oh.
I was really inspired by his performance of Six String Orchestra, which oddly enough is right smack dab in the middle of the best episode of the Muppet Show, which is the one that features the stars of Star Wars.
Oh yeah, definitely classic.
It's just a cool song of Scooter with a guitar struggling to get some basic chords, especially like he flummoxed a little bit the lead-in notes, he's just going into the chords. But as the song goes on, he talks about how he hears all the other instruments in his head, in his imagination. And you see slowly throughout the song, like members of Electric Mayhem showing up as ghosts in the background to play the bass and the saxophone and the strings and drums. And I thought that whole thing was very punk rock. The whole thing, if anybody can, even if you're not that strong as a guitarist or musician, if you got a song in your head and you got a little bit of courage, you can put that out there for the world. And in my opinion, he would be so cool to sing karaoke with, because he would just get out there and let it fly, and he would have a vision for what his karaoke performance would sound like. And honestly, I would even more love to do an open mic with him, because I'd like to hear that guitar.
I like that. I like that much better. Open mic night with Scooter and Cool Nerd Mark. Book it. Book it, Disney.
That's going to happen.
So let's talk about the name Cool Nerd Mark. Michael and I know the story, but tell the planet Earth the story of the name Cool Nerd Mark.
Well, it's part of it's just laziness. It was already my email address, and I already owned the Facebook page Cool Nerd Mark, so made it easy whenever I needed a performer name. I mean, I love my last name, Orr. It's a great name for a podcast, but it's a little confusing as a performer name. So people were like, what does that mean? So I decided to go with a stage name. And the whole thing came from actually something that happened to me in junior high, actually. I wasn't super popular in high school. I was kind of nerdy. I didn't fly my nerd flag nearly as high as I do now. I tried to do things to fit in, like, I don't know, play football, and
you had the collar turned up too, Mark. Remember?
I did. I was in student council, so I tried really hard, but I never really quite made that upper tier of popular kids. And one day we were at lunch, and I was sitting with my normal friends who were kind of like not the coolest kids, but they were my friends. And this cheerleader comes over to our table, and she starts pointing at everyone, and she goes, "Nerd, nerd, nerd, nerd." And then she points at me and pauses and says, "You're a cool nerd." And then she walks away. I have never forgotten that moment that I qualified as the coolest of the nerds. So that's where the name came from, is that little moment that I'm sure she has no idea she inspired wherever she is.
So if you're watching, for some reason, if you're watching this junior
Thank
high
you,
girl,
Joanne. Thank you, Joanne, for that. Yes.
That's all you, Joanne. That's awesome. All right, Mark. So, of course, again, we know this, but we want to talk to our audience about this subject. Talk about your musical upbringing, your early influences, your teen influences. What kind of created Cool Nerd Mark and the style that you have now?
Okay, well, the Orr family is a family of singers. We grew up singing a cappella in the church because that was what we did in the Church of Christ. And I remember lots of singing on trips. You know, we would travel a lot and sing a cappella songs in the car. And I don't remember a time that I didn't know how to do 4-part harmony. I've never studied music theory, but it just sort of has come naturally that I know that this note and this note sound right together. Growing up, I listened to a lot of 80s synth pop, Depeche Mode and the Pet Shop Boys and B-52s and Duran Duran. Listened to the band a cappella, which sang a cappella Christian music, and later on got a little bit, we're into alt rock, especially like The Cure and 9 Inch Nails and In Excess, things like that. I was in choir and played trumpet in the band, and I didn't actually learn guitar, which is the main instrument I play now, until I was 18, and wow. I inherited a guitar from my grandmother, and Dad gave me some lessons, and then I pretty much learned everything else through this book he gave me called 50 Songs by John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Ooh. And they had little chord boxes. They had little boxes above the staff. Those of you that are guitarists know about chord boxes. And that was pretty much what I did, is I sat down and I did really bad renditions of Beatles songs until I learned all the chords. Some of the songs I didn't even know, but I could read music. So my version of She Came In Through the Bathroom Window sounds nothing like the Beatles version, but it rocked. Influences, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm always trying to learn about new music. Every few years, I'll discover something new, like a new genre. Like the last year, I spent some time listening to pop and R&B, which is not a genre I've listened to much. And before that, I was really getting into 70s yacht rock and things like that. But as far as what's influenced my music in general, probably Weezer has been huge for me. I mean, the whole idea of the nerd band. Weird Al. A lot of my music is humorous. I don't do parodies much, but a lot of his original songs really inspire me. Like One More Minute and You Don't Love Me Anymore.
Dare to be
Love
stupid.
Dare to Be Stupid. Yep. I love punk rock. I didn't really discover that till I was an adult, but that the whole influence of you can just take 3 or 4 chords and play them really loud and fast has factored into my music.
Pro tip.
There's an artist I discovered locally when I lived here in the Pacific Northwest, S.J. Tucker, who now lives in Arkansas. She was really the person that inspired my guitar style because I really tried hard to kind of learn from her particular. She's just one of those people that has this big, warm, rich guitar sound, and so that's
She does. She has great. Me to, and you introduced that to me when we were on a road trip recently, and man, S.J. Tucker, amazing stuff.
I guess last shout out. There's a Portland band called the Double Clicks that does nerd music, and I would love one day to open for them. If you're listening, Double Clicks, please book me to that show because they don't do all these songs about velociraptors and cats and evil geniuses with lasers, and I just love that kind of stuff.
It's awesome.
And it's an amazing thing, like how that genre has really exploded. Oh
yeah.
Just with pop culture becoming so prevalent and everything like that. Michael's daughter Joy showed me a song recently that's like, I think it's called like The Ultimate Battle, and it mentions Mr. Rogers and Chuck Norris.
I know that song. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and it's like so this nerd rock, like singing about like the Muppets and Star Wars and Conan the Destroyer, like the Barbarian and stuff like that. I think it's changed.
It's the internet and streaming platforms like Spotify, where independent. You don't have to be a big name record label to get your music out there anymore. You don't have to get. Nobody really cares much about radio airplay unless you're part of a big label, because I was able to pay $20 for an entire year and get my music out there on 14 different streaming platforms.
Wow.
It's not that hard anymore.
Yeah.
And people all over the world might end up listening to my stuff. Maybe. We'll see. But it's not so hard anymore to get your music out there for public consumption. And I think that has caused a lot more artists that are doing weirder music to have a place, and it's just a matter of connecting with the right people that are hungry for that kind of music. And YouTube helps if you can have a good video, which I don't really have, but that's definitely in the plans.
Okay, so Mark, I've got a challenge for you then. This is off script, but so I've got a great Mystery Science Theater group that is really active. And you should write a song about Mystery Science Theater. I know you probably aren't as big a fan as me and Jonathan, but I know you like it.
It's funny that you say that. I get a lot of people, since I do nerdy rock, that will come up to me and be like, "Oh man, you really need a song about this." And I actually keep a spreadsheet, so I will put that on my spreadsheet.
Please do, because let me tell you, when I sit down to write songs, I go through my spreadsheet and I think about a couple of things. I think about what are different nerdy things I might want to write about. But more importantly, I don't just write usually only about something nerdy. What I like to do is take something nerdy and use it as a wrapper to talk about life. Like one of the songs I'll talk about later is a song about Star Trek, but it's really a song about starting a new chapter in your life and doing something a little scary but a little exciting. That to me is the best nerd rock, is whenever it's about more than that. And I think that's what Weezer did with a song like In the Garage, which drops things like Nightcrawler and D&D and Kiss and things like that, but it's more about enjoying your alone time, and how that's important for recharging. So taking that nerdy stuff but using it as a way to wrap up the package of, I want to really talk about something that's important about life, but I want to do it through something nerdy. So I like really awesome.
Fantastic. All right, so talk about like some of your early songwriting memories, some of the first songs that you remember writing.
Well, I mean, growing up, the preacher's kid and a devout Christian, my first songs were about Christ, and I can't say that I've written as many about that recently, but it's something I've thought about now that I was not a Christian for a while, and now I am again, and I think that that was inspiring to me, and my dad wrote songs about Jesus, and so did Michael. And I remember several times when we go on road trips in our custom Dodge van, and three of us would all be writing songs at the same time, which would drive Mom crazy.
Oh yeah, poor Mom.
Because they're all different songs, different keys. But I remember that, and then I remember Michael and we had a little duet that we worked on called "The Soldiers of Christ," where we wrote several kind of upbeat, catchy a cappella Christian songs, and we actually performed it at church a couple of times, but didn't really go very far with it.
Could have been what could have been, right?
I'm all for a Soldiers of Christ 30-year reunion album. Let's do that, Michael. Let's make that happen.
Maybe we can charge as much as the a cappella group is doing, the $60 tickets or 120 or whatever it is they're
We're
charging.
True artists. We're not about the money.
That's right. We're not about the money. We're about the fans.
We're about the cheese.
The cheese, yeah. Honestly, we're about the cheese. So yeah, absolutely.
Right.
All right. So Michael, what get the next question for us, bro?
Yes. Okay, so we've talked about early songwriting memories, but currently, talk about songwriting and musicianship and sort of the maturation process during adulthood. How did your songwriting sort of develop and change into what it is now? Because we know that you went from Christian to, I remember some early like sort of alternative songs and things like that, but as you became an adult, how did it mature and grow and develop into what it is today?
Okay. Well, I did continue to write Christian music throughout my early 20s, but I wrote some secular music too. Most of the stuff I wrote then was just, I never really did much with it. It was just for me. And I think there's nothing wrong with that, writing songs just because you want to listen to them in your bedroom or whatever. And I'd record them on old tape recorders and things like that. And then I got involved in this organization in my late 20s called the Society for Creative Anachronism, or the SCA. The SCA was a group that kind of did like Ren Fair type things. Some of your listeners may be familiar with it. Medieval reenactment. And in the SCA, I found a different outlet because one of the major things that people did in the SCA was what they call Bardic Competitions, where you would perform in front of a group of judges and you compete for a prize, or they would have other kinds of competitions. Probably the most significant one that I did that I still carry with me is there was a competition I did where you had a festival like atmosphere. They were having sword fighting and jousting and things like that. And the bards that signed up for this competition would walk around all day among this group of like 400 people that were there and just perform for little people that were sitting here and there. And everybody that was at the event got a little bead. And if they liked you, they would give you a bead. And at the end of the day, they would you would turn them in and they would count up who had the most. And I won and got this drum.
Ooh.
Really I had like 250 stones, so that was pretty great. And my next album, I'm going to play this drum. I didn't do it on this one, but I have a song in mind that I'm going to beat on that drum. The drum's called a bohran, B-O-H-R-A-N. It's a Celtic drum.
That's really cool.
And one of the things I'm most proud of.
Nice. I remember going with you when I was a teenager to one of the Bardic competitions, and you sang a song about Henry VIII and 50 pounds of meat. Is that the one where you won the drum?
50 pounds of meat. Yes.
was classic
that
right
was
there.
that was actually based on a real story where Henry VIII sent Anne Boleyn a gift of 50 pounds of meat to win her affection, and I guess it worked. I mean, she did marry him, but we all know how that turned out. Not so well.
Beware of men who
But
send strange meats. Beware of men who send strange meats.
please do. But when I moved up here, I started doing open mic nights. I moved up here back in 2010, and through open mics, I met some other musicians, and we formed a band called Mystery Soda that existed for about 7 years. And we were a comedy rock band, mostly acoustic. We had hand drums instead of actual drum kits, and we had a cellist at one point, and just went around and we played a lot of Renaissance fairs and fairy festivals. We played a couple of nerd conventions, did some open mics and some coffee shops, and yeah, it was a lot of different things. We even played an opening of a comic book show, and we got a song on the Dr. Demento show, which is a classic
really cool.
radio show for nerdy music. So I felt really good about what we accomplished. But when that band broke up about 2 years ago, I didn't do music for a while, and then I decided in the middle of the pandemic it was time for me to get back into doing music, and it was time for me to up my game. And that was what caused me to prepare for recording the album that I'm recording now, and that I just released. And I've already started on a new one. I just started laying down initial tracks this week, and I'm really thrilled about that.
Wow.
Fantastic. I know, the next question we kind of had was kind of what you just started on with
the great segue.
The new album. The new album. Tell us about the new album and kind of the creative process, because I know that you did step up your production values and do some things with your recording that you hadn't done before. So just kind of tell us about the new album. Yeah.
So the album is called The Playtest. I released it about 2 weeks ago on all kinds of platforms, on Spotify and Apple Music and all that. And it's also on Bandcamp, which is where I originally put it up. I decided it's really kind of an EP, so it's only 6 songs. And the reason it's called The Playtest is in video gaming and in role-playing gaming, before a game comes out, they put it through the tests, and they have people test the game and give feedback. And since I hadn't, I've done recording before, but there was always someone else that did the mixing, the engineering, the mastering. I'd never done any of that myself, so I knew I was going to make a lot of mistakes. And I love the product that I've come up with, but it's not perfect by any means. It's got some flaws here and there, and I know that I would do some things differently next time. But that's kind of what it's all about. It's just putting it out there, giving it a try. I know that I love a lot of imperfect albums myself, and that's one of the reasons I love punk music, is it's not always polished and perfect.
Yes.
And I'm not saying this is a punk album by any means, although there are a couple of tracks that have that genre to them. It's kind of a variety of genres. But that whole sentiment of let's just put something out there, and if people don't like it, that's their problem.
To me, that's
Absolutely.
where all the best music comes from.
Exactly.
I've noticed it, like with when you get somebody from the beginning, as far as I'm going to put all my best stuff out there. I'm going to put all my, you just seem to get the best. That's why a lot of bands who have been around for 20, 30 years, people really don't dig it as much as they do the original. And even the ones who who do get big, it's like Metallica with the Black Album was probably, definitely their most successful album. Everybody's like, well, I like earlier stuff,
I would love it in 10 years if people would say, I like Cool Nerd Mark, but only the early stuff.
You've made it when they say that, right?
Exactly. Right.
Funny.
So basically, you want to know about the process of the album. The first thing I did was I went down and I took lessons on recording. I went down to Guitar Center and I dropped some money to take lessons every week. I found a fantastic teacher who actually was a music engineer for Dolly Parton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so someone that really knew their stuff. I took lessons for several months. I spent a decent amount of money on gear, buying microphones, interfaces, monitor speakers, cables. I'm not going to say how much, but it was more than a computer, but less than a car.
A pretty penny.
And but you got to do that to make it work, you know.
You
And
do.
I'm probably not done buying gear because it's kind of addicting, but you know that's just kind of part of the game. And then I wrote some new songs for this album. Some of them were older songs that I'd written a while back that I updated. I took a lot of the songs out to both in person when I could find them and also virtual open mic and songwriting events just to test them out to see what songs am I getting the best reactions out of. I think that's important to do if you're going to make an album. And also, I find that when you perform in public, your songs evolve.
Yeah.
You know, different parts change over time. And then recorded everything here in my what was my pandemic office, but I've been transforming it into a studio, as you can see by my growing number of acoustic treatment panels on the wall. I actually have about twice as many coming in the mail this weekend, so you'll see twice as many in the future. Boy, they make a difference in the sound.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously. And then I've really gotten into the whole process of mixing an album and using different processing effects and just shaping the sound into something that you like. I watch so many YouTube videos on how to do that. Sometimes I'll do that because in my day job, I work in the school system, public schools, and I travel from school to school as a educational specialist. And sometimes I'll arrive at a school a few minutes before our appointment. I'll just sit in the parking lot and pop on a YouTube video about recording. You know, learn more about like compression or using equalizers or reverb or delay or how to find the right balance in a mix. And some of these songs I would record them and save a new version. Some of my versions are like the name of the song, number 17. I'm hoping with what I've learned for my next album, I'll have like 2 or 3 versions of each song because I can't tell you how many hours I spent mixing and remixing, and you can sort of overdo that. And I hope I didn't, but I think part of it was this was a learning album. This was me learning how to be a mixing engineer, which is a whole other art besides just being a songwriter and a performer. And something that I used to hate, to be honest, I used to tell people I love performing, but I hate recording. I don't think that anymore. I think it's easy to hate something you're not good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
When you start getting good at it, you can start to love it. And I really love recording. It's quality. It's quality alone time. When I've had to deal with a lot of people and I want to like go into my man cave, this is my man cave for sure.
You know,
awesome.
I really, before we get to the next question, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed the production on this album. Like, I was showing it to a teenager. She was riding to church with us, and I was like, "Hey, I got to show you my brother's new album." And she was like, "Man, he's got a tight beat going on here." And Mark's got the tight beats, the fat beats, but I enjoyed the drum machines and the harmonizing and the layers of the different parts, and so it's definitely different, and it's got a different distinction to any other recordings you've ever had, and I absolutely love it. Like the song "I'll Buy You Ice Cream," I love the harmonies on there were just amazing. Like especially, I really enjoyed what you did. So I just wanted to put that out there for everybody listening. this is a really good album.
It is.
And Mark is getting better and better. So really proud of the work you did, bro.
Thank you.
Excellent
And
stuff.
for the people that are watching, I'm gonna tell you at the end a secret trick where you could actually listen to and even download a copy to try out of the album for free.
Ooh.
I mean, I'd love it if you paid me for it, but there's a way to get it for free as well. So I'll
cool.
hook you up. That's
Only on this.
That's
Yeah.
your reward for listening.
That's right. All right. So last question before, I think we're going to get a performance after this, but last question we wanted to ask. And, you know, me and Jonathan, when we do these interviews, we don't have the typical interview questions. We like to talk about the stuff that we really nerd out over. And one of the songs on your album is called Bombata Stop. And it's one particular scene from the movie Conan the Destroyer, which I doubt too many people who are watching this have seen, but we loved this particular scene.
I think people know about Conan.
They know about Conan, yeah. But like I really nerded out the most over this song. And so just tell us a little bit about Bombata Stop, about this particular song and why you wrote it and kind of how the process of writing this song.
Okay. One condition. When I'm done talking about it, the song's only 2 minutes. Can I just play it?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, great. That'll be great. So Bombata Stop is basically the whole song is quotes from Conan the Destroyer. And it's actually myself singing a cappella, 8 or 10 different parts. And they kind of start out
Wow.
layered a little bit, like not all at the same time, but they kind of build in. And then at the end, I'm singing like 16 parts at once. And the way I actually recorded it was a little different. I actually made my own loops, vocal loops. So I would record about 2 measures, if you know anything about music, so about 8 to 10 seconds at a time. And I synced it up to a metronome that you don't hear on the recording unless you have it turned up really loud and you're looking for it. Because I try to pull that out, but a little bit did end up in the final. And and then some of those loops I just repeated over and over again. And then I did a lot of things with like panning tracks to center or whenever they were needed to be emphasized, and then to the side when they didn't. And so I had a lot of fun with the mixing process, doing something that you don't hear as much, which is a chorus of a cappella singers with one voice. So it was one of the tracks I had the most fun with, just because it was really different.
Oh yeah.
And of course, it involves possibly the greatest basketball player of all time. Bombata was played by Wilt the Stilt, the Big Dipper Chamberlain, who in this movie had like 5 lines, maybe a few more, maybe like 10, 11. Just every one of them. Like I remember y'all memorized like every line Wilt Chamberlain said in this movie.
Yes, we added paper. I had a little paper with all of them on there. I was a little obsessed with that movie.
Remember that?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful movie. All right, so you wanted to play it for us now?
Yeah, play it.
Bombata Stop. Bombata Stop. Bombata Stop. Bombata Stop. Bombata Stop. Why did you attack us? Crotch can hurt the girl. Bombata Stop. Bombata Stop. Bombata Stop. Bombata Stop. Conan is the Green Zone God. Why did they attack us? Cried by her. I'm about to stop. If Conan will let me ride with him, then I will give my life for him. I'm about to stop. If Conan will let me ride with him, then I will give my life for him. I'm about to stop. If Conan will let me ride with him, then I will give my life for him. I'm about to stop. If Conan will let me ride with him, then I will give my life for him. What are we? Some channel organization. We are thieves. I'm about to stop. They thought if they just did me, magic would be in their blood. I'm about to stop. They thought if they just did me, magic would be in their blood. I'm about to stop. They thought if they just did me, magic would be in their blood. I'm about to stop. They thought if they just did me, magic would be in their blood. Let's get in the jazz. Let's get in the jazz. I'm about to stop. Let's get in the jazz. Let's get in the jazz. I'm about to stop. Let's get in the jazz. I'm about to stop. Let's get in the jazz. Let's get in the jazz. I'm about to stop.
Wow, that is so cool.
Thank you.
I think my favorite was the
sir.
Chrome.
I love it.
Cool.
I love it.
If you haven't seen Conan
Yeah,
the
I had to
Destroyer,
say-
go see Conan the Destroyer. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I had to sit really close to the mic for that, and I actually used a plugin called Valhalla Reverb for that one.
Ooh. I was wondering where that bass was coming from. I'm like, Mark is not a
Yeah.
bass.
Yeah, well, what reverb does, if you're not familiar with it, is it changes what the room that you record in sounds like. So it can take, if you're recording in a small room like me, with the right reverb, it can make it sound like you're recording in a large empty hall or even an orchestra size auditorium.
Wow.
And the Valhalla one is like you're standing alone in a stadium singing in a microphone.
That's awesome.
That is absolutely fantastic.
I wouldn't use that for most songs, but to sing Conan loudly, that's the right reverb.
Oh, definitely the right call. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Well, we really enjoyed Bombada's Stop, and now we get, only for the second time ever, we've only had one live performance before by the legend Danielle Ate the Sandwich. If she's listening to this, thank you for being a legend.
Yes.
And now we get another legend, a legend in the making, a legend in our hearts and minds, and in soon to be a legend in the hearts of many hearts and minds. You know, when you said that
At least three.
At least three.
At least three. You know, when you said all over the world, you know how they always say David Hasselhoff is big in Germany? My dream is for Cool Nerd Mark to be big in Germany.
I would love to be famous in a country that had the word the syllable "stan" at the end of it. So something "stan."
Yeah.
Uzbekistan, Pakistan, any place. That would be amazing. They just all like the national anthem has changed to Bombata Stop, and be a great time.
Oh boy,
all right.
I love it.
So, Michael, you want to pitch us to? Are you ready to perform for us, sir?
Go ahead and pause again because I'm going to have to move the microphones a bit.
Okay, we will be right back.
In just a minute.
All right.
Okay. All right. This is the title track for myself, but not for the album. But this is Cool Nerd. This is my story. I was in the 7th grade, a cheerleader wanted to drop some shade on me and my less than popular group of friends. She pointed to my friend and said, "You're a nerd, and you are nerds." And then she pointed right at me and said these words definitively: "You are a cool nerd. You're a cool nerd." Cool nerds since the 7th grade, hanging out in the arcade, the best dungeon master in all the school. No goals of popularity, the kind of thing never appealed to me, but the interdisciplinarity. Being cool and being a nerd, there's no better equivalent word than cool nerd. I'm a nerd and there is no doubt that nerdy stuff is what I'm all about. But there is no reason I can't be a cool nerd. I'm cool in my own eyes and I got no reason to apologize. You don't think I'm cool enough. You don't think I'm nerdy enough. I think that is pretty much absurd. I'm a cool nerd. Cool nerd has become my name, a term of derision I sought to reclaim. The mudblood photographer lays a brain. You may think my lyrics weird, and I believe really rethink this beard. Self-expression takes myriad forms, and I've seen a compelling reason to conform to arbitrary socially constructed norms. Oh, you sound like a nerd. Keep in mind this song describes a subset of who I am, derived from diverse interests, some nerdy and some not. If I watch a football game, I should have faced gatekeeping nerdy shame, when the point is I should do what I want to do. So if you ever felt left out or different because of what you care about, today stand up and be counted with me. If you have a cool nerd inside you, it's risky sometimes to let your passion guide you to its lowest and 12 in your spare time. Or write a song with 6-syllable rhymes to celebrate idiosyncrasy and individuality. Be a cool nerd. This is the part where you sing along with me, okay?
Okay.
Cool nerds. Cool nerds. Cool is the cool. We are cool nerds. We're cool nerds. We use sesquipedalian words. If you don't know what that means, it means really, really, really long words. We are cool nerds. We are cool nerds. We have very secure passwords. Because we are cool nerds. Cool nerds. Cool nerds. Cool nerds. 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 Nerds.
Woo! Awesome.
Yes, sir. Woo!
Nerds. I love that. That's so good. Mark, I want to be a cool nerd too.
Thank you.
You have inspired me to be a cool nerd.
You can be. That's right.
Awesome. That's awesome. Very good. Well, Mark, remind everybody again one more time where we can find your music.
Yeah, let me take all the gear off.
He's more machine now than man.
So the easiest place to start looking for my music is on the website coolnerdmark.com. Pretty easy to remember. There you'll find at the very top of the page, right above the words Cool Nerd Mark, you'll find all the links to Spotify and Facebook, I think I have an Instagram, maybe, I don't know. Apple Music, Amazon, they're all the little icons that you know well from really good branding.
Cool.
So
very good.
Very good. I wanted to tell you where you can actually get a free copy of the album.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So if you go to one of the links at the top is let's see, what does it look like exactly?
This is very important, so please pay attention, everyone. Very important information.
Free is always good.
Yes, we like free here.
It's a little slash that says BC, and it's right next to the Facebook icon.
Oh.
And if you have show notes for this, you can definitely send those and you can put them there in the show notes. That's a Bandcamp. And actually, if you're on my website, you'll see the name of the album, the playtest. And there's a little link there that says buy album. And if you click that, you will not immediately be charged. It will take you to my Bandcamp page where there's a pay what you want link. And what you want could totally be $0. And I'm totally cool with that for this album. Or you could You could pay me a penny. I would be so thrilled if you paid me a
One
penny.
penny.
Now, Bandcamp will take 15% of that penny. So if you pay me 15 cents, I actually get a penny. So I'm thinking that's probably not the right math, is it? Pay me
Hey.
$1, I get 85 cents. However that works out. Pay me 10 cents, I get 8.5. You know, whatever.
Hey,
but I'm totally
anything.
cool with 0. Yeah, and you could totally buy it for 0 and go back later and you know, give me $1 or $2. Fine.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
You know, if you like it. So try before you buy it. And you can also listen to everything for free there. If you listen to me on Spotify, I get 1/3 of a cent for every play. So
wow,
would love that.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends. That's awesome.
Indeed. Man, Mark, we have enjoyed so much having you on today. We've enjoyed your music. I've been listening to your album a lot on Spotify. You know, Amber loves it.
Like a whole 20 cents from you.
Hey,
there you go. Everyone I've showed it to loves it. So
nice. Thank you.
We're really excited about the album and the next one and the next one after that. And
yeah,
just keep going as long as you can.
Coming up on the next one are songs about Yoda and the Hulk. So you look forward.
Ooh, the green guys.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I have a poster on my wall with Yoda and Hulk together, and it says "Dream Big," and they're like giving each other a high five.
Yeah, I think I'm going to put some Ninja Turtles on there too. So maybe I'll just call it Cool Nerd Mark the Green Album. I don't know, but I think the Bees already did that, so I might get in trouble.
Oh, you just call it the Other Green Album, and you'll be able to.
The Other Green Album. There we go. I like that.
That sounds good. So we're going to put some links in our description, and we are going to allow allow everybody to download for free, like you said right there. So download that.
Yep.
I suggest give them a couple of bucks, help them out here.
Yeah.
But check it out. Look at all the links. Click on them. Like the video. Continue to follow Mark on all his social media platforms.
Yep.
And we just want to thank him again and thank you for listening.
Yes.
And we will see you next time on the Orr Umbrella Podcast.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.